Hi class. So my name is Justine Jenny and I'm going to be your instructor for the semester. In today's lecture video, I just want to talk a little bit about the syllabus, and we'll go through some important info, and I'll just highlight some important things in the syllabus and draw your attention to them. So as I said, my name is Justine Jenny. You can call me Justine or Professor Jenny, whatever you prefer. Our course delivery is asynchronous, which just means there's no mandatory Zoom meetings during the week. Everything has been pre-recorded as lecture videos, and I've uploaded them to the course homepage. So you'll go through that information for each unit on your own time. And I do recommend setting a routine weekly schedule. So if you have Monday nights free, set up a 3-hour window where you just go through the course information for that week, and maybe do your reading and writing if that's required. So I would say 3 hours per week is minimum. There might be writing, depending on how long it takes you to do your course work. The actual writing might be on top of that, but I would set aside, at least a set time each week to go through the course videos, lecture material, and make sure you understand what you're going to do, and if you have any questions, to reach out to me. But I think online classes that are asynchronous is a challenge for students who, they need to manage their time effectively. So you are going to need to, stick to a schedule, and I would definitely say, get out your calendar, daily planner, and make sure that you are holding yourself accountable for doing the work each week. Logging into the course homepage is important too, because that's where all of our lecture videos are. So you want to make sure that you're able to access the course homepage, and you familiarize yourself with that as well. And I'll put a separate video out just talking to you about the course homepage. In terms of getting a hold of me, there is the course email on the homepage, and that's what I'll use to reach out to you. So every week, or maybe twice a week, I'll send out an email, and it'll be sort of a reminder of what you are responsible for that week. And it'll be, usually just a reminder or announcements if that's necessary. You could also get a hold of me through this email, the jenny1ju@uregina.ca. So everybody will have a uregina email. So yeah, that's another way to get a hold of me through that email account. I will hold office hours on the course homepage via Zoom, but as a live chat. So I don't know if I'll turn the screen on all the time, but you'll definitely be able to sort of write a question, or we can just talk via this Zoom screen. And if you have any questions about the class, you can log in on Wednesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. But those aren't mandatory office hours. So if you're not able to meet at Wednesdays from 6 to 7, you don't have to come, and it's just a drop in office hours if you have a question and you want an immediate answer. For most cases, students just send me a question by email, and that's the best way to handle it. Yeah, and if you want a more one-on-one interaction, I would say email me about setting up a Zoom appointment one-on-one, and we could meet and discuss any problems you might be having with your writing, or your feedback on your essay, or if you just have writer's block and you're not sure how to approach the assignment, we could talk about that on a one-on-one Zoom appointment. So yeah, just email me if you want to set one of those up. This course, we're doing a variety of texts, and texts written by men and women from sort of diverse perspectives and different genres of writing. So these are the main course texts listed here. I'll just show you them as well. Most of them are available either as hard copies, so like the book itself, or as online versions. So I've tried to include that information here in the syllabus as well. So this is the first one, The Education of Augie Morasti. It's a short little book. It's a true story. It's a residential school memoir by the author, Joseph August Morasti. It can be triggering for some students because there is a lot of depictions of sexual abuse and physical assault and physical abuse as well. So if you're somebody who is triggered by that kind of information, just let me know that that's not something you are interested in reading, and I can assign you a different text for that one. But again, it's a worthwhile read, and I think it's an important read. And it's important for us to sort of know about the residential school system and what the survivors went through. And it's also a story of Augie's life after, what the consequences of that experience had on his life. So for those reasons, I think it's an important read and important for us to study. The next text is Art Spiegelman's Mouse, and it's a graphic novel. And it's written as a comic, so as a graphic novel, meaning it's illustrated. And it comes in 2 parts, but sometimes you can find the complete mouse, and it's both books together in a larger, novel-sized book instead of the 2 separate volumes. Either one would work, so either one works for this text. I've also linked to some free online versions. Sometimes these links work, sometimes they don't. So yeah, it's best to have a hard copy, I think, if you can get your hands on one. And the library usually has this book available as well. And it's a Holocaust story. So it's about the author, Art Spiegelman's parents, who were Jewish Holocaust survivors. And basically, it's also a love story between these two, his 2 parents, how they met, how they fell in love, and everything that they've endured through their young lives and after. But it's a bit of a tearjerker too. So both those texts, Education of Augie Morasti and Mouse, deal with, sensitive issues and issues of mental health and abuse and all of these things. So these are issues that we're going to be talking about in this class. The other text we have here, so Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House is a play. It's kind of a feminist play, or you could interpret it that way. And I've a link to the online version on the course homepage, or on the syllabus here. So if you click on the link, it should take you to the online version, which is fine as well. If you, again, wanted to find a hard copy, I have this version. I think I posted, or in the bookstore, the U of R bookstore will have another edition of it. So whichever edition that you can get your hands on, it should be fine. But it's A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen. And then there's a selection of short stories as well. You'll have some options to choose from for that unit, but I'll link to these, and they're going to be all available online. So I'll add links here, but Louise Erdrich's The Shawl, Kate Chopin's The Story of an Hour, and Charlotte Perkins Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper. So those are just 3 short stories that will also be options for Unit 4 that you can choose from. And these are, 2 of these are sort of, again, feminist lit, so works written by women and dealing with issues related to gender inequality. Louise Erdrich's The Shawl is a really amazing story by an Indigenous author, and she's writing about sort of intergenerational trauma, but it's an amazing story, so I definitely would recommend you read that, or at any point pick that story up at some time. The other little resource here is the English Department Style Sheet. So that is a really helpful resource where you can take a look at what the English department at the University of Regina recommends for formatting of an academic paper. So in university, every academic essay that you hand in should follow certain guidelines. We refer to that as MLA style guidelines, and that has to do with citing, but it also has to do with formatting and where you put your name and date and that kind of information on the document that you create, and how you have a title for your essay and whether it should be bolded or not, all of that kind of information. So all of that kind of stuff you can find in the English department style sheet. So it's a good idea to go to that style sheet and either print it out or just make sure that you read it completely and get a good sense of what your essay is supposed to look like. Some of that information we'll also discuss in course lectures. These are some other recommended but not required readings, and I'll link to these on the course homepage under each unit. But some of these will relate more to our individual units. There is no grammar handbook mandatory, but if you are interested in improving your grammar and your writing, I would recommend the Practical Grammar, a Canadian Writer's Resource, and I've just linked to the Amazon page there. So that book is really good if you are somebody who is struggling with your sentence structure and grammar and rules, and you're not sure how to use an apostrophe, or you're not sure how to use a colon, so that kind of thing. So I would definitely invest in a grammar handbook, either at this point in your academic life or definitely in your first year university, because it is going to be something you're going to go and refer to quite often. If you just want to just practice your grammar, I've linked to the Grammar Bites website, which is kind of a fun website that has some grammar activities and exercises that you can work through. And it's more so just, a little, if you're bored and want to spend 15 minutes of improving your grammar, go to the Grammar Bites website and do a couple little exercises on there. The other important or helpful website is the OWL Purdue website, and that's the one that I use for all questions related to MLA style. So like I said, the Modern Language Association is what MLA stands for, and it's a style of citing or formatting that we use in the English department. So when we cite something, I just mean when we put the author's attribution, their last name and page number at the end of a quotation or at the end of our sentence to tell us where that information is coming from. It's MLA style that I'm talking about. So we'll talk a lot about that in Unit 1, how to give proper citing and referencing to our essay writing or our writing in general. Yeah, so that's the basic info on books and required or recommended readings. There's a list of objectives here that we can go through. But yeah, basically it's based on our assignments. So to finish your English 100 class, these are some of the skills or objectives that we want you to complete or practice or gain mastery of. So you'll be analyzing, solving problems. That'll be sort of how you approach an essay topic, establishing an argument evidence relation. So if you want to prove your essay argument, you need to find evidence, and the evidence is from the books that we're reading. So how to pull quotations from the book and stick it in your essay, and that's going to be your evidence. Things like analyzing audience, analyzing purpose, analyzing rhetorical situations. So we'll do different genres of writing, and you'll analyze different types of writing. So we're looking at nonfiction, we're looking at fiction, we're looking at different journal articles versus memoirs. So all sorts of different styles of writing and different situations or purposes. Some is academics, some is for entertainment, some is persuasive or argumentative. So we'll do a couple of different types of writing as well. You'll learn how to cite properly, quote and paraphrase, all using MLA style. We'll also work on some different writing strategies, so pre-writing, writing, post-writing, as ways to improve your writing process. And then in terms of just grammar stuff, it's going to be a little bit in the class, but largely self-guided. So if you do have problems with your grammar, you should be seeking support from a grammar handbook outside of this class as well. Okay, and then your responsibilities here. This is kind of an important part. So you are required to hand in or complete all major writing assignments. So there's 4 writing assignments in total and a final exam. So those are the parts that are mandatory. There's also a discussion forum that's worth marks that you should do to get a good mark in the class, but it's not mandatory in the sense that if you don't do, or if you miss one of the discussion forums, it's not going to result in your incompletion of the class. It will mean you've lost 5 marks, which can add up if you didn't write all of the discussion forums. But for major assignments, there are 4 major essay or essay type assignments and a final exam that are mandatory for this class. If you fail to submit any required element, it will result in an NP grade, so not passing. And on your transcript, sorry, it'll be 40%. So that's how your grade will be calculated. Policies here. So a policy on extensions and late assignments. So I'm very happy to work with you on giving an extension if it's needed. You just need to email me or let me know that say, hey, Justine, I need an extra week for assignment number 2. You don't even really have to explain the reason unless you want to, but just ask for the extension. Usually it's just 1 week that I give. If you need longer than that, then it should be supported with a doctor's note. And if you don't ask for an extension and you are just late, it will be marked with a penalty. So there's a late penalty per day. So it's the best way to avoid late penalties or other complications is just to let me know that you need more time in advance of the due date. So if you're, have 2 things that are due on the same week and you need an extra week to do your English assignment, just let me know and I'll totally understand, and there's no penalty for having an extension. So it's fine. Just make sure that you ask for one. Okay, and the other big warning thing here is AI detection and university writing. So it does vary somewhat between departments, but for an English class, we want you to learn how to write with your own words and thoughts. We don't want you to rely on AI auto-generated, computer-generated writing. So certain apps like ChatGPT that uses AI-generated writing, that's the kind of thing where you write in a prompt and it gives you an essay. Those are not allowed. And we do use technology like Turnitin AI detection in this class that will assess your writing and determine whether AI was used or not. So try to avoid all AI-generated apps. Grammarly is one that students were using, but it does have paraphrasing technologies in there that rewrites your sentences for you. And I've seen that it is flagged in Turnitin. So I would avoid Grammarly if you have it on your computer. You shouldn't be using that in this class. You can use just the Word documents have a spell check. Where is this? Okay. You could do a spelling grammar check through your Word doc, and that's fine, but you don't want to have something rewriting your paper for you or a paraphrasing tool. because it's not your own writing, it's not your own skills being assessed. At that point, I'm assessing a computer's auto-generated writing, not your own. So yeah, just be aware that there is no AI allowed in the class, and any cases that are flagged will be investigated by the Arts Academic Integrity Team. And it does delay everything. It just draws out, you know, your grade, the turnaround for your grades, because everything has to be assessed by somebody else at that point. So yeah, it's just a big, long process, and it's a big pain in the butt, to be honest. So try to avoid it. And if you're not sure if it's AI or not, like with the app you're using, just you know, email me, or you could check with the Arts Academic Integrity Team too, just to see what's allowed or what's not allowed. And in most of those cases, it's not intentional plagiarism, but that's the job of the Academic Integrity Team to assess whether a student has plagiarized or committed academic misconduct or not. It's not really my place to say or investigate these cases. I just give your paper to the Academic Integrity Team, and they assess it on their level. So yeah, they get, you know, hundreds of cases each semester, so it's a long drawn out process. So we try to avoid it as best as possible. If you are a student who needs accommodations for any kind of disabilities, you could go to their website, the Student Accessibility website, or call them directly and get instructions, and they can help set up accommodations, such as, you know, having an extension or having more time for in-class exams, that kind of thing, or for your final exam, extra time. So yeah, be sure to contact them and get your accommodations in place. So for this class, like I mentioned, there's 4 major assignments. The actual assignment descriptions will be on the course homepage. They're not included in this syllabus, but this gives you the basic info and enough info that you can, you know, log into your calendar, daily planner when these are due. Assignment number 1 is due Sunday, February 18th, and it's quite a short one, but it takes some skill. We're going to be reading a journal article written by an academic scholar, and then you're going to be writing a summary of that article, as well as a little paragraph discussing your thoughts on it. That's going to be worth 10%. Writing assignment number 2 is going to take that original journal article from assignment number 1 and also discuss it in relation to the education of Augie Morasti, which we'll read as a class. So you'll end up writing an essay about the education of Augie Morasti and also bringing in a little bit of research from that journal article. That one's worth 15%, and it's going to be due Sunday, March 10th, and it's around 3 to 4 pages in length, double-spaced. Assignment number 3 is a literary essay with a research source of your choice. So that one's going to be on our discussion of Mouse, books 1 and 2. And so you'll pick an essay topic from ones I give you on the course homepage. You'll write your essay, but I'll also ask you to sort of find a research source, and that could be a website or another journal article or something like that. So you'll also be bringing in a little bit of extra info to develop your discussion. This one's also 3 to 4 pages in length, due Sunday, April 7th, and is worth 15%. And then writing assignment number 4 is going to be sort of a comparison essay where you're going to take 2 different characters from some fictional texts, some short stories or Ibsen's play, and compare them. That one's a little bit longer, and so that's 5 to 6 pages, and it's due Sunday, May 5th, and it's going to be worth 20%. And then You also have discussion forums to participate in. These are online on the course homepage. Each unit of study, or for units 2, 3, and 4, there is going to be a discussion forum where you'll write a little response to a question that's in the discussion forum about the reading that we did for that unit. And you'll write a paragraph or so response, post that to the discussion forum, and also reply to one of your classmates' posts. And each one of those discussion forums is worth 5 marks each. So we'll do 3 of those in total, worth 15%. And yeah, so there's various dates for those ones as well. So just make sure that you're marking those in your calendar. And then we're going to have an online invigilated exam. I've decided to make it multiple choice for the first part, and then an essay question as well. So I'll discuss that more as we get closer to the final exam date. But it's scheduled for Thursday, March 16th at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And it'll be online invigilated, so we'll do it over a Zoom. And both myself and our teaching assistant, Valea, will be invigilating it. So you will need a webcam set up, and you need to attend class on Thursday, May 16th from 7:10 to 10 p.m. For the final exam, which is worth 25%. Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions about that, let me know. This is just basically the same info here. There's a little bit more info about discussion forums, but yeah, basically that's the main part of the syllabus here. If you want to go through the more detailed class schedule, what each week or each unit is going to entail, you can take a look through here. And then there's the grading standard at the very end. Class averages for English 100 is usually between the 68-74 range, which is a bit of a drop for high school students. I know it's a little shocking to get your marks back, and you know, you might end up with a 60 on a paper or something like that. But that's part of the process of learning university academic writing style and what's expected of you. You will find that your mark usually improves over the course. So even if you get a 60 something on assignment 1, hopefully you'll improve over the course of the term. It is possible to get 80s and even 90s in an English class, but you do need to really elevate your language, elevate the evidence, make sure you're citing properly, that everything is grammatically correct, and you're really following closely MLA style. So things like that help elevate your grade, and you can earn 80s and above. This is the grading rubric that I use, so I've attached that as well. But it looks for things like, your thesis statement, how well your argument is developed with evidence. Are you explaining your evidence? Is your essay clearly organized? Are the paragraphs, do they have topic sentences? Are there transitions? Is everything grammatically correct? Are you having a reference page or works cited page with your references included? And is your style of writing appropriate and the correct tone for an academic piece of writing? Yeah, so that's the whole syllabus. If you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, I think it might be a little intimidating to start, but we'll take it, step by step, unit by unit, and work our way through all of the information and texts. And you'll learn, how to use MLA style, how to reference properly, starting in Unit 1. So yeah, if you have any questions other than that, let me know. And yeah, hopefully it's a great semester. So looking forward to teaching everybody.